Alright, so situation update. This is what I'm dealing with today. My 8VA has a truck pan on it. And as you can see right here, the drag link was hitting the oil pan. When I first got the car, the adjusting sleeve right there was turned around like this other one here. And the head of it was what was rubbing on the pan. Luckily, it hasn't gouged a hole in it. But it's a lot closer than what I'd like it to be, especially with the suspension travel. I don't want it smacking the pan. So what I'm doing is I got a pogo stand here up under my pan, and I've raised it up. This is the original bolts that are in it, and I've rigged up I got some bolts, and I got a sleeve here and a washer that fits the lower bushing. As you can see, the bolt's a lot longer. So I'm gonna stick these new bolts up in there with the washers on them, and then I have a stack. Where'd they go? Here we go. This is gonna be for the driver's side. Stack of shims here, alignment shims. I'm gonna stick them up under the mount, like yonder way there, and raise the engine up. And I've already kind of tested it, and it seemed to, in resting position, it'll be about an inch and a half away, which is a lot more than what it was. So let me get these bolts in here and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I got my bolts in there and I got my shims in there. As you can see, I tried to leave the bolt as long as I could just for safety reasons. And it's got plenty of distance. You can see I got my my shims in there. That way I can adjust it easily, loosen it up and take a couple out, or maybe add a couple more. You can see the ones up there on that side. And bolts worked out great with putting those collars and the washers and everything on there. I was able to use the factory bushing, so you can't see. All right, just do a little general walk under here. As you can see, my car's a little rusty on the frame, but the body is in immaculate shape. Just a little surface rust. Gas tank is in good shape. Guy I got it from had redone it. I still got a little bit of a wiring mess back here to deal with. I got this plastic loom on there and I don't like it. Redo it. And of course, got the rear ends leaking, and transmission and oil pan. If you got one of these cars and it's not leaking oil, it's not running. But looks like everything's dry in the back. I don't see any brake fluid leaking anywhere, which is always good. I need to do a grease job on this thing before I head out of town in it. All the 9 million grease fittings this thing got. I checked the differential fluid here recently, and let's check on the fuel filter here. Looks clean, just a little bit of some doo-doo in there. And the transmission in the back is leaking where the U-joint cover is. And of course the linkages, everywhere it could leak fluid out, it's leaking. But it runs good. Got my steering all tightened down. I need to check the fluid in the gearbox there. Front brakes look good. I did a grease job on this thing. Hit all the grease fittings about 2 months ago. It's due for it. I don't see any grease coming out of my kingpins, which I like to keep those real greased up. I don't want to have to change those. They're good and tight. They don't have any play in them, so I'm just trying to stay on top of all my grease fittings, keeping everything greased up. Looks like the bushings are starting to rot out of that a little bit. Sway bar, I guess. Everything looks pretty good. Coker tires are still doing me good. Got my rigged up exhaust pipe there. And as you can see now, I got those shims in there. I got a lot more room between the steering arm and the pan there. You can see where it had rubbed on the pan there. So I can get my hand in between there now. So, all right, I'm gonna wait for it to stop raining out there and take this thing out on a drive. I'm kind of concerned that since I tilted the engine, I might have thrown off my shift linkages a little bit, but I don't think I moved it enough to make that big of a difference. So we'll see here in a minute. Little test drive cruise. Seems to be happy. She likes to cruise about 45 or 50.